He was wearing pigtails and large hoop earrings when I first saw him. He's absolutely adorable. Maybe I should introduce myself first. My name is Caitlin. A few months ago I split up with my latest boyfriend, another in a long list of bossy macho males who saw me as a potential trophy wife and wanted me to put them first and me second. While my ambition isn't to be a trophy wife, I love my job, I'm excellent at it, so why should I sacrifice that for some guy? So I decided not to pursue any relationships or say yes to any guys for the foreseeable future. Until I saw him. I was visiting a potential client, I'm a lawyer, in what I now know to be the building that the plaited pigtails boy works in. He was already waiting for the elevator when I got there. I said hello to him, perhaps a little too enthusiastically, which made him blush and turn away. I couldn't keep my eyes off him. He's slightly shorter than me, his dark hair appears to be quite thick. He is quite slender, has high cheekbones, beautiful hazel eyes, long dark eyelashes and delicate-looking snow-white skin. He was wearing tan loafers, dark green pants, a waistcoat that had a green paisley pattern and a white shirt. Instead of wearing a tie, he was wearing a gold brooch, to match the earrings, where the top button would be. He was also carrying a shoulder bag that looked more like a handbag. I wear my long straight blonde hair down most of the time. For this meeting I changed out of my usual jeans and boots into a gray pantsuit with a light blue blouse and pumps. I don't wear much jewelry, usually for work meetings I wear a pair of pearl stud earrings. Culturally, I'm not the corporate type and only dresses up when I need to. I know I can get away with it because of the power I have over men. No male boss is going to tell a gorgeous woman that what I'm wearing is not flattering. I know most of them lust after me. The lift finally arrives and Mr. Pigtails waits for me to enter first, but I let him in first. We both go in and he presses the button for his floor and he looks at me and I say level 8 darling, oops. The lift starts and I can't help but keep looking at him with a silly grin on my face. He looks annoyed and turns away. He probably thinks I'm going to make fun of him, but I've never seen a guy look so gorgeous, dressed so tastefully and so pretty. It's a very unusual look for a guy, but it really works for him. In the better light in the lift I can see that the outfit is probably a lady's outfit. The buttons are the other way around and the pants have no pockets. My thoughts are interrupted when the elevator suddenly stops. We both wait for it to start up again, but it doesn't and Pigtail Boy presses the lift button a few times. When the elevator doesn't move again, he mutters, "Not again," and opens a panel where there is a phone and makes a phone call. He calls the elevator company and tells them the lift is stuck. While he is talking, I notice him playing with one of his pigtails, much like a little girl would. He hangs up and says, "They'll be here in 40 minutes or more." He looks at me and says, "My name is James." I'm Caitlin. I compliment him on his lovely outfit and ask where he got it. He compliments me on mine and asks me if I'm nervous. I admit that I am. He puts his hand on my back and tells me not to worry. He laughs and tells me that being stuck in the lift is probably all his fault. This is the 5th time he's been stuck in a lift in the past 3 months. So if there is anything you want to know, just ask. I've read up on how they operate and there are so many safety features. I assure you we are very safe, James says. The lift moves again and stops at the 5th floor, his floor. I get off with him, I just want to be out of that box. I feel a dizzy and James helps steady me. He sits me down in one of the chairs in the lobby of his workplace and asks me if I want a glass of water or a cup of tea. I ask for a glass of water and a woman standing behind James says she'll get it. When I stop thinking about the elevator and start thinking about this pretty boy in front of me, it helps calm me down. The young woman hands me a glass of water and introduces herself as Justine. She tells me she's one of James' colleagues. Are you going to be okay? James asks me. I'll be all right, I just don't want to get in that lift again, I reply. James suggests that I walk up the fire stairs and get someone on that level to open the door for me because it will be locked from the fire stairs side. I tell him that's a good idea and tell him I'll be fine, I just need a few more minutes and he should go back to work. I got a few more minutes of my lunch break left, I don't mind sitting with you. I sit for a few more minutes with him, make a call to one of my colleagues that are already in the meeting and tell them to be at the fire escape door in a few minutes. James takes me to the fire stairs. I stop and thank him for helping me and reach over to touch one of his low-plaited pigtails. You're looking at me that way again, as if you're going to make fun of me, he said. Oh, don't be silly, it's just that you're very beautiful, I reply. I reach over to kiss him, which took him by surprise, and play with one of his earrings. They're cute earrings, they really suit you, I say before leaving. Chapter 2. The meeting goes as planned, and after much convincing and reassurances that the elevator has been fixed, I used it to leave the building. I was almost going to walk down to level 5 to get my pretty pigtailed prince, an elevator expert, to escort me down the elevator or stairs, whichever he saw as more appropriate. When I get back to the office, it is very hard to concentrate on my work. I decide to finish early, which my assistant Felicity found quite strange. Then again, that's not unusual, she is always lecturing me about being more corporate. Going home early and working from home is just the latest in a long list of sins. I head to the train station. Yes, that's another thing I'm lectured about, not driving to work. Heck, my place is only a few train stops away and a short walk, why would I drive to work? I stand at the platform waiting for the train and start thinking about my adorable James. So are you okay now? It was Justine, James' colleague. She introduces me to her friend and James' colleague, Siobhan. While waiting for the train and on the train, we three have a good talk. Of course they wanted to know about me, they seem quite protective of James, but I wanted to know about James. Justine and Siobhan told me that James was definitely heterosexual, didn't want to be a woman, it's just that he's very feminine and like wearing androgynous clothing, feminine jewelry, and being a feminine guy. Siobhan says he's incredibly shy and that if I don't make the first move I'll be waiting ages to him to do it. Most importantly, just before I get off the train, they tell me his work hours. I won't be able to be at his workplace for a few days, but resolve to wait outside his building at the time he finishes work when I can. I can't wait to see him again. Chapter 3. The following week I'm waiting outside his building just before 4:30 p.m., the time he is due to finish work. I wonder what he'll be wearing. I saw him briefly at the other end of the crowded train station at 5 p.m. on a Friday evening. He was wearing a high ponytail tied with a red scrunchie, smallish hoop earrings, a blue waistcoat, a red shirt, or maybe I should call it a blouse, and the same brooch that he was wearing the first time I saw him. The building he works in has 2 entrances, but according to his friend Justine, I'm on the side that he'll be departing. Okay, call me a stalker, but I'm desperate to meet him again. A group of people leave the building. Is that him? Bun boy. As soon as he sees me, he turns around and heads back into the building. He's wearing his hair up in a bun, gold button earrings, a gray top and a gray and maroon waistcoat, gray slacks, and carrying a black handbag. It definitely is a handbag that matches his shoes. He's even more adorable than when I first saw him, far more dressy than me in my jeans. I'm even more determined to make him mine. I move quickly into the building, not quite running. Once I'm in front of the elevators, I see him depart through the set of doors on the other side of the building. I run to catch up with him. Just outside the other set of doors, I catch up to him and wrap one of my arms around his waist. Gotcha! He struggles a little, but I'm too strong for him. Very soon I have him up against a waist-high railing. I notice he had dropped his handbag and a makeup purse has fallen out of it. I pick up the handbag and hand it to him, but keep the pink makeup pouch and open it and look in it. Please give it back to me, James pleads. Give what back? That. Are you saying it's yours? Well, let's have a look at what's inside it. Foundation, mascara, there's 3 lipsticks. It doesn't look like something a boy would own, I tease. Please give it back to me, Caitlin, James says. Oh, he remembers my name, or should I say she? If it's yours, then what is it? It's mine. It's your what? It's my makeup purse, he pouts. Prove it. I tell him if it's his makeup, then he should prove it by touching up his makeup. He applies some mascara, then touches up his foundation and then starts to put makeup pouch away. And the lipstick, I say to him. He tells me he's still a little nervous about wearing lipstick. I snatch the pouch from his hand and take the lipsticks and look at the colors. One is bright red, the other would match his maroon in his waistcoat, and the other is very subtle that would match the natural color of his lips. That's a shame, all pretty girls look lovely wearing lipstick, I tease, handing back the lipsticks and the pouch. Please stop making fun of me, James mumbles. I move closer to him, put my hands on the railing on either side of his body, blocking off any escape James might make. I'm sorry, darling, but those are nice lipsticks. The darker one would match that beautiful outfit you're wearing. If you don't want to wear them, I understand. It was naughty for Caitlin to tease you so much. I'm sorry for making you uncomfortable, sweetheart, I say, kissing him on the lips. The fact is, I really wanted to see you again, and thank you for helping me when we got stuck in that lift last week, I say, pressing my body against his. I've never been this physically aggressive with any guy, but I think it may be working on him. No worries, it was a pleasure to help, he says, a little shocked at the change in my tone. Why were you running away? I didn't want you to see me like this, he says. But I think you're so adorable like this. If you don't like dressing like this, who is making you do it? James tells me no one is forcing him to dress like this. He says he hates men's clothing and finds women's clothes more interesting and more colorful. He says he's been experimenting with more feminine looks lately. He says he's only worn his hair in a bun a few times and in pigtails a couple times. Well, I'm glad I saw you that way. When I saw you in those pigtails, I fell for you and I couldn't take my eyes off you, I say to him. Really? I was beginning to think that no one would be attracted to me dressing like this. I was actually thinking about getting my hair cut, stop wearing earrings and start dressing like a regular guy and start being a real man, he said. Darling, you'll never be a real man. You'll just be a femi boy pretending to be a man, I say, taking a bit of a chance. I wasn't insulting him, I believe I was stating plain fact. I kiss him on the forehead to soften the blow. You don't even know me, how can you say that? James protests, perhaps a little annoyed at my assumption. Well, I spoke to Auntie Justine and Auntie Siobhan on the train a couple of times and Auntie Justine a few times on the phone, and guess what? You were the main topic of discussion. They've told me all about you. They're not my aunts, I just work with them, he says, turning his head away from me. Your bun has come a little loose, turn around and I'll fix it for you. He hesitates. Darling, it most probably happened when I grabbed you. The least I can do is fix it for you. I grab his shoulders and turn him around and start on the bun. I undo the maroon elastic from the bun that is almost on the top of his head and find it's held together with hairpins as well. I twist the loose bit of hair around the bun, pull out one of the pins and use it to put the loose lock of hair back in place and then put the elastic back in place. I notice that the earrings are pierced earrings. When I originally saw he was wearing gold button earrings, I assumed they would be clips. One of the backs of the earrings are a little loose. I push it back in. They're lovely earrings, they really go well with the bun, I say. Thanks, he says, trying to turn around, but I stop him by hugging him from behind. He struggles but stops after I kiss him behind his left ear a few times. You have such wonderful taste, everything matches and you're so well put together. Any girl would love to have your good fashion sense, no wonder you find men's clothes restricting. Thank you, you're very beautiful too, James says. So would you like me to take you out on a date? Sweetheart, if that makes you nervous, we could just meet for coffee or lunch. He says nothing. How about I meet you at your office at 12:30 tomorrow and take you to lunch? I say, impatient for an answer. He nods. How do you know what time my lunch break is? Auntie Siobhan told me. They're not my aunts. Well, they're both protective of you like a couple of aunts, they even say they're like aunts to you. Justine is younger than me. So that doesn't mean a thing, you're very lucky to have them as friends. He nods. So lunch tomorrow? Don't worry, it doesn't have to be a big deal. We can get some sandwiches or salads and have a picnic in the park, I say, letting go of him and allowing him to turn around and face me. That would be really nice, Caitlin, thank you, he says, kissing me on the cheek. I grab the back of his head and give him a long lingering kiss on the lips. He melts in my arms. It appears my physical approach has helped. We separate, I take hold of one of his hands. Well, I'd better head home, James says. I'll escort you to the station, I say, leading the way for him. We walk off, hand in hand. Chapter 4. I phone James at work the morning of our lunch date, but I get Justine instead. Justine confirms that he's still good to go to lunch with me. I told him if he doesn't want you, then I'll be turning gay to be with you. That didn't make him laugh, by the way, Justine says. James thinks you're the most beautiful person he has ever seen. He's been on cloud 9 all morning. I can't resist. I ask Justine what he's wearing. Those cute outfits are such a turn-on for me. She tells me he's wearing his blue waistcoat outfit with a light blue blouse, she called it a blouse, and medium hoop earrings. I ask her if he's wearing a scrunchie to match his blouse. She says no, he's wearing a black one. But we've been trying to convince him to wear his lippy, Justine says. I tell her to keep trying, and say I'll see her and the gorgeous James later. A couple hours later at 12:30 I turn up to his workplace. He works at a switchboard for an insurance company. I walk into his switch room where Justine and Siobhan are working also. I walk up behind him, cover his eyes and say, "Guess who?" He giggles. I kiss him on the neck and compliment him on his lipstick. Justine said you wouldn't take me out to lunch if I didn't wear it, James said. Justine was being naughty, wasn't she? I never said that, but I am very happy that you're wearing lipstick, I say, kissing him a couple more times. We walk out arm in arm, his arm in mine. We get some sandwiches and go to a picnic bench in the park. I surprise him by taking a bottle of Chardonnay and a couple of glasses from my tote bag. It is a beautiful late summer's day, the sun is shining through the trees, I could not be happier. So sweetheart, why doesn't your scrunchie match your blouse? I ask him, pouring him a glass of wine. It's a shirt, and I don't have a hair tie this color, so I wear a black one, he says. Well, look what I've got for you, I say, showing him a scrunchie that matches his blouse. Where did you get that? I've been trying to find one for ages, but... I mean, where did you get that? I don't know, honey, my assistant, Felicity, got it. You'll have to ask her when you see her. You have a secretary? He asks. Of course I do, darling, I'm quite a successful barrister. Don't worry, you'll get to know Felicity quite well, I say, moving to go behind him to put the new scrunchie in his hair. He's quite silent while I fix his hair. I take off his black scrunchie and notice his hair is held together with a hair tie. The scrunchie was only there as an ornament. I undo the hair tie and move the base of the ponytail an inch or two so it's on top at the back of his head rather than at the top of the back of his head. He keeps touching the base of the new scrunchie for the rest of the lunch. We resume eating. He, it seems to break the silence, asks me what my favorite color is. I tell him I like aquas, light blues and turquoises. Lunch continues. He tells me about his work and the fact that he is studying part-time at university. I tell him about some of the court cases I have recently dealt with. How come you never call me by my name? My sweet boy asks. What do you mean, honey? You never call me James, only sweetheart, honey, or darling. I don't mean to precious, sorry, I don't know why I do it. I still think you're making fun of me, James says. I get up and sit next to him. I wrap my arms around his shoulders and say, Precious, ignore what I call you and just know that I love you more than I could ever love anything. I kiss him several times on his cheek. I'm sorry, but a name like James just doesn't do the feelings I have for you justice. Darling, sweetheart, honey, precious. I know they are words that a guy would normally call his girlfriend, but I also feel most comfortable and feeling in love for you when I call you these words. Sweetheart, please know this. I love you with all my heart. I love you more than I have loved anything. You are so beautiful, so sweet, so lovely. I would never want to do anything to risk you leaving me. I shower my lovely James with kisses. He's giggling. So Auntie Caitlin has poured her heart out for you. Do you have anything to say? I love you, Katie. He turns to me and kisses me on the lips. We kiss and kiss and kiss and kiss and kiss and kiss and kiss. I'd do anything for you, Katie. I don't mind if you call me those girly names. When we're not around others, all that matters is that you love me, James says, hugging and kissing me. I've never had anyone feel for me like this, he says. You don't find me strange? You really do love me? James asks. I do, and that's a couple of words you better get used to from me, I say with a smile. We snuggle for about 10 minutes more, then start talking, with his head resting on my shoulder and my arm around him. After a while we get up and head back to work, but not before I remind him to touch up his lippy. He asks me why I don't wear lipstick or earrings. I reply by saying I do sometimes, but I prefer the natural look. On the way back to his office we pass by some gift shops. I suggest he buy Justine and Siobhan some nice gifts. After all, they put in some very nice words for you. I have never known any friends that have urged someone to go out with anyone with such enthusiasm. He buys a couple boxes of gourmet chocolates. You should also give them a peck on the cheek when you give them the presents, I say, giving him a peck on the cheek. Why? I'm in love with you, not them. Sweetheart, you'd be lost without your aunties. They're not my aunts. Well, you can't deny that they good friends that care about you. A peck on the cheek will mean more to them than the present. We get back to his office and he does as he's told. Siobhan and Justine seem very happy. They also make a fuss of his new scrunchie and tell him to thank me properly for it, a kiss on the lips. I tell him I really need to take him out on a proper date, dinner in theater or a movie. He says just name day and the time. I tell him Felicity will be in contact with him to let him know the night. He hugs me around the shoulders, kisses me and tells me he's the luckiest guy in the world. I kiss him back and tell him I'll see him soon. I leave, almost in tears. He's perfect.